All right. Thank you guys so much for joining on this Friday afternoon. My name is Ashley. I am the Outreach and Admissions Coordinator here at Code the Dream. First of all, thank you, Maddie, for the beforehand presentation. I learned so much more about you guys' program, and I see how we are aligned in the sense that Code the Dream, we are a program that works with economic development and workforce development. Um, Actually, over 50% of our population are immigrants, so most of them, their first language isn't English. And we really work with them to get them into the American workforce and not just into the force, but to succeed in the workforce as well. So I'll be talking a bit more about Code the Dream. We are a tech nonprofit. We started in 2014 as a program to help those from underrepresented communities almost bypass college in a way and a free way to learn coding and to get into the tech field. And throughout this conversation or the presentation, I'll be talking about our mission, our class offerings, as well as our application process. And I'll save the end for questions, as Maddie mentioned. So if you do have questions throughout, definitely put them in a chat and I'll go through them towards the end. All right. So here at Code the Dream, we have three components to our mission. One is to create opportunities that change lives. So, like I said, just helping those from underrepresented communities get into the field of tech. It isn't as diverse right now, but it is such a lucrative field, and there's so many benefits to getting into tech. Whether that's I guess excellent work-life balance, also continuous learning opportunities, so you won't get bored in tech, remote work, and etc. There's so much into tech. So we seek to create more diversity in the tech world, and then also within our program, we actually build technology that benefits underrepresented communities as well too, which I'll talk about a bit more. But yeah, overall, our program is a free coding program, a free coding boot camp, in which I see some of you guys may already have some technical skills from your home countries or whatnot, but you can see us as a way to upskill or even to switch career fields. So there are two parts to our program. I'll be talking more about the orange circle, which is our coding boot camp. So free classes in web development. Our classes are specialized in web development, but they can go for all tech jobs. So a few things about that. Eligibility. You have to be 18 years or over to apply for our program. You have to currently reside within the United States, which I'm pretty sure you guys are based in Massachusetts. And that's regardless of citizenship status, it doesn't matter. And then you also have to have a computer and Wi-Fi. Otherwise, our classes are 15 weeks long. They're fully remote, and it's a part-time program, so about 15 to 20 hours per week. So our program was designed for the adult learner, I guess. So many of our students are full-time. They have full-time jobs, they have their parents, etc. So we do design our classes like that. Our classes are asynchronous. What that means is that throughout every week, you'll learn a different concept in your class, and you'll watch pre recorded videos on your own time to learn the concepts. And then throughout the week, usually Monday through Friday, we have mentors who are actually software developers in their day jobs. There's more just volunteering for us. And they have group sessions and one on one sessions to help you to understand the course material. And then you'll turn in weekly assignments. And that's kind of a rundown. Now, for CTD Labs, which is in the blue circle, that's usually what everybody's excited about. That's where we offer paid apprenticeships throughout our program. So you can qualify for the labs if you have taken at least one advanced class and you've completed at least one practicum, which we'll talk about in the next slide. But these paid apprenticeships, they are full-time, they're remote, they are salaried, and this is basically a chance for you to put into practice what you learned throughout our classes. And from there, you can go on to find your job. It is highly competitive. I do have to say that too. So not everybody's guaranteed it, but we do have apprenticeship offerings. So this is where you can see a visual pathway throughout our program, starting from the online application all the way to getting your career. So first, you will complete an online application. It doesn't take more than like 8 to 10 minutes. And then you have to complete a pre-work assignment. Now, this assignment is basically, if you are going into, let's say, the intro class, it'll be to see if you can work in an asynchronous environment. So you will watch pre-recorded videos and then produce a coding sample showing that you can learn from a video on how to code. All right. And then for the advanced classes, that's basically to see if you are at the level to actually start our advanced classes. Our classes are pretty intensive. Okay. So the intro class is not like a basic class. Like you do have to, it will be a little challenging, I would say. So for the advanced classes, you'll just have to prove that you can keep up with our material. Based off of your pre work, and if it is acceptable, then you'll be accepted into our program. So we have our intro to programming class. This is where you will learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS, GitHub, APIs, etc. And then we have our advanced classes, which we're offering for the spring trimester. So I'm going to be talking about the spring trimester today, but you can apply for our spring, summer, or fall classes. But within the spring, we're offering React, which is more front end development, Node, which is back end, Ruby on Rails, which is I would say like a niche skill, and then Python as well. From our advanced classes, you'll then move on to practicum. So practicum is a 10-week project where you'll work in a small group to build and deploy an app. So in our classes, you'll more learn the material, and then in our practicum, you'll practice. You'll actually be working on a team, and you'll be building an app. And many employers, I actually did some research on jobs within tech, and most of them do look for some kind of experience working on a team and deploying apps. So this is perfect to put on your resume and to talk about in your interviews. From the practicum, you will be considered job ready. So you can go ahead and start applying for, let's say, outside apprenticeships, internships, even jobs for that matter. Or you can apply for our CTD labs, which I mentioned in the slide before. That's our apprenticeship. The apprenticeship is 2 years, or it can be 9 months to 2 years, depending on when you find a job. Because within the apprenticeship, there will be some career development too. And that's what will help you basically to start finding jobs and start applying. But also, there is 2 weeks of career development built into practicum. So no matter what, you will get those soft skills mixed with your technical skills you'll learn. And then lastly, you'll go off and find your job. If you have any questions, definitely make sure you put them in the chat. All right, so this is our spring class schedule. So we are offering all of the classes listed next to class type. More in the pink category, that's our intro to programming class. That starts February 19th of next year and it ends June 6th. In the yellow, that's all of our advanced classes. So they begin March 12th of next year and then they end on June 27th of next year. Now, if you were to hop right into our practicum, that's like it starts in like 2 weeks after that. And the practicum ends September 26th. And from there, like I said, you'll be considered job ready to go and start applying for positions. Now, some people ask if you can take an intro class and an advanced class at the same time. You cannot. But let's say if you do want to take two advanced classes at the same time, you can do that as well. But just know that if you do take two classes at the same time, you should have about 40 hours per week reserved for just classes. If you have that time, great. If you don't, just take one class. And then let's see, Python, that's along our data analysis track. So that's a bit different. But let's say if you do want to be a full stack developer, you can do a Node and React, for example. We usually recommend people start off with React as it's easier to learn, but based off of your skills, you can choose any class you want, okay? So, previous knowledge requirements. Luckily for our intro class, there are no previous requirements. I would say one requirement that we don't say is definitely make sure you know how to work your computer though. We don't teach you how to work your computer. So that is one thing you should know how to do. Otherwise, our pre-work assignment for intro is designed to catch you up to be able to start our classes. So there's like if you don't have any experience in tech, no worries, you are good. For our advanced classes, we do require that you know some JavaScript for Node and React applicants. And then overall, we do want you to be able to have some experience with GitHub and APIs for all advanced class applicants. And that's because with the pre-work assignment, it is designed to where you do have to pull data from an API. So that is a requirement. For our tools, so for the intro class, you will need a simple basic computer. This can also be a Chromebook or a hybrid tablet. We don't recommend that you purchase a new system at all for the intro class because our mentors are there and they'll help you to do some workarounds if you need them. But you also need reliable internet, as I said earlier. This can be, you can go to a library, Starbucks, etc. For the advanced class, you will need a computer with memory so that you are able to store files on your system, and then reliable internet as well. And if you have any other questions on requirements, definitely put them in the chat. But overall, we say in our program, we don't ask for money, but we do ask for your time. So that includes having commitment to working through those lessons that may be a bit more challenging. Like I said, in our asynchronous learning environment, it can be harder for some, but as long as you, let's say you're watching videos and you don't get a concept, rewatch them or even reach out one-on-one to a mentor and they can help to catch you up. But overall, you have to have that drive within yourself to work through those lessons because they can be challenging. Also, like I said, we require about 15 to 20 hours a week. And that can be more for some and less than others. It really just depends on how fast you work, but, and I guess your understanding too. But we say that's an average. So let's say that, well, I actually just say we do have a flexible like classroom environment to where if you have a busy next week, you can work ahead on assignments, or if you fall behind, our mentors will help to catch you up. So as long as you do have some time carved out within your schedule throughout the week, you should be good to go. All right. So next steps. One, we say to add admissions at codethedream.org to your contacts list. And that's really just to make sure we don't go to your spam or junk mail. Also, important dates. So I'll explain this. I hope it won't be confusing. So our early pre-work deadline is October 6th. So you can apply at any time you want to. You can apply today if you want to. We say on our social media it's the application deadline, but really it's the pre-work deadline. If you turn in your pre-work by October 6th, then you'll know your results for our classes by October 22nd. Now, for that's our early deadline. For our standard deadline, if you don't complete it by October 6th, you will have to have it completed by November 24th, and you'll find out your results on December 17th. So the reasoning for the two deadlines is really to award those who submitted early by knowing if they've been accepted earlier on. And even if you aren't accepted by the October 22nd date, if you submit early, we'll give you tips to be able to resubmit by the standard deadline. So there's just two options with those deadlines, but no later than November 24th. All right. Hope that was understandable. If it wasn't, definitely put it in the chat. All right, so for pre-work information, our pre-work instructions are emailed as soon as you complete the application, and they'll apply for the class you applied for. So if you applied for the intro class, you'll receive the intro pre-work. If you applied for advanced, you'll receive the advanced pre-work. Now, make sure you read those instructions carefully because they'll list multiple times the requirements. And as long as you meet the requirements on the pre-work assignment, you will be admitted into our classes. And then if you're working throughout the assignment and you have any questions, you can always email me at admissions@codethedream.org. And I'm nice, I'm friendly. I just want y'all to get in, so you can ask any questions you want. There's no dumb questions. For the intro class, you'll be working on Khan Academy if you've heard of it. It's a free account that you'll create, and you'll be learning the first unit of drawing and animation. So we do try to make the pre-work assignment fun. Some people, they have like aliens flying across the screen. Like they'll make all that with coding, which is pretty cool. And then you'll submit a coding sample from what you learn. For the advanced applicants, you'll create a static website, whether it's single or multi-page, and you'll have to include some navigation as well as styling features, and you'll use an open source API to display data to the user. So one question I get is if bootstrapping is allowed. Yes, you can use bootstrapping, but you do have to show us that you can do some manual styling, whether that's modifying a template or such. But overall, as long as you can show that you can pull data from an API, to display it in the way that you created to on your website, you'll be good to go. So a lot of people are sometimes stuck in the middle. They may have some coding experience, but they don't know if they can apply for the advanced class just yet. For those people, we usually ask, do you know what an API is? If you do know what an API is, definitely attempt the advanced pre-work. And there's no risk with attempting the advanced pre-work or applying for the advanced class. So if you're looking in your instructions and you feel that you have some knowledge gaps that maybe the intro class would be helpful for, you can definitely let me know anytime that you want to switch to the intro class and we can switch you. Also, if you do complete the advanced pre-work assignment, but it isn't admissible for whatever reason, it may not meet all the requirements, then if you show that you still have some skill, you'll be invited for our intro class too. So that's one thing about advanced. But if you're like me and I just learned what an API is when I started working here, you would do the intro pre-work if you don't know what an API is. Now, if you do want to apply for, let's say, two advanced classes or even one, you'll just do the advanced pre-work. But overall, it is important to know that if you don't submit a pre-work assignment, you will not be considered for the class you apply for because it is still a application requirement. All right. So the top, it says all applicants, but really that's if you submit by November 24th, you'll know by December 17th if you've been admitted. Now, all classes have an orientation that will be 2 weeks before the class starts. So for the intro class, it'll be February 3rd, and for the advanced, it will be February 24th. And then we will have office hours provided the week before classes start so that you can have all your questions answered and feel prepared and confident going into our classes. I kind of explained this earlier, but weekly you'll work through different lessons. You'll submit an assignment every week, and then you can attend as many live one-on-one mentoring sessions as you want to, whether group or one-on-one mentoring, and they're there to make sure you have a good understanding of the course material. All right, so frequently asked questions. A lot of people want to know how many people can get into our program. Luckily, our program isn't competitive. You just have to make sure that you submit the pre-work with the requirements and then you'll be good to go. So for the summer class, for the intro class, we had 135 offers that went out. For our advanced class, it varies, but just submit acceptable pre-work and you'll be good to go. What happens after class? If you apply to our intro class, you'll then move on to take an advanced class. Simply completing the intro class won't make you job ready. That's really to teach you the tech fundamentals. All right, so you will have to go to advanced class. For advanced, if you apply directly into advanced, you'll go to the practicum, which is the additional 10 weeks. Afterwards, you have three options. One is to apply for the apprenticeship. Another is to start applying for intern or junior developer roles or any other outside apprenticeships if you feel ready. Or you can take another advanced class and or another practicum if you still want to build some skills on your resume. But overall, like I said, we look for drive. Don't look at this as just a side hustle or a hobby, but really be serious about getting that career in tech. And then we are the first step to becoming that developer or whatever position you want within tech. And we usually say it takes about 9 to 18 months to become job ready, depending on what class you start with. Also, some people ask what's the cost of our classes. We say it's free and we mean it, okay? So we don't ask for any kind of money. We have grants and a development workshop as part of our organization, which helps to provide our classes completely free. That development shop is CTD Labs. So the apprentices, they work on projects, and those who they work on projects for help to pay for our program. So we do ask but don't require that once you graduate to either donate back time as a volunteer or mentor or even monetary funds if you feel it, if you want to. But overall, what are some benefits of taking our classes? You'll become job ready for one. Also, students said that taking our classes helped them to improve confidence in themselves by mastering such a tough skill. So I guess that's a good side effect. Also, some students said that it helped improve their English too. So that's pretty cool. Overall, but many developers are self-taught. But with our program, we offer more of a streamlined way of learning how to code. And alongside that, we offer mentorship projects. We have a hackathon that we're planning for next spring, and then etc. alongside your learning. So it's just more support, I guess, for being self-taught. Now, I did want to include this slide because so many people want to know what happens after Code the Dream and where have your alumni gone. So, for example, some companies that have hired CTD alumni include Epic Games, Walt Disney World, Airbnb, Cisco. We recently just had 10 apprentices hired at SAS in December of last year, and their average salary was like $85,000 per year. So we do have opportunities, and we do have a proven system of people getting jobs, and not even just all at big companies, but other smaller companies and nonprofits as well. Job titles. So of course you can become a developer, whether front end, back end, or full stack. We also have a lot of people going into analyst roles, so like a systems analyst. We have people who go into project manager roles, different kinds of designers. We just had a alumni not too long ago. She finished practicum and she had just took our Node class. And I guess the Department of Homeland Security, they were looking for someone who knew Node. So she went right into cybersecurity. So there are different opportunities, not even just for development, but overall in different areas of tech. But that is all. So thank you guys so much for joining today. Like I said, I'll go ahead and start answering questions. But if you do have any questions afterwards, you can email admissions@codethedream.org, or you can apply today if you want to at codethedream.org/apply. But thank you. And now we'll start answering questions.